Okay, good evening, everyone. You will be recorded. I hope that's okay. Okay, so as I said, I'm the one standing between you and the reception, and I have the really nice task of saying the final words, and I'll try to do that without tears because I'm extremely honored and proud of you guys for organizing this conference all together. It's been really amazing, and yeah, okay. Everything I say now is just cannot sort of do justice to how amazing you are. But I have thought a lot about how to do this presentation, and the title is the team formerly known as NeuroEpigenetics. I think we will be known for another 20 minutes as NeuroEpigenetics because we've collectively come up with a new name, and I'll end the presentation with the new name. But before we do that, I wanted to go through some pictures, some slides, and I haven't got a real text here, but I conceived it a bit as, you know, in the 80s we had slideshows, but they weren't these things. They were actually like dia is slide, like physical things that you have to project, and then you invited people after you went on holiday, and they came and they ate crisps, and they had to listen to you talking about every picture. So this is how I conceived this. I have gathered pictures of many of you, of things we've done, and I'll briefly go over that. And if anyone wants to interrupt or add something, or I forgot something, and I hope I don't forget anyone, but anyway, so I'll tell the story about the last 5 years, because I think one of the recurring themes over the last 3 days was the concept of story. Story not as merely nice fiction, but as something that's actually helps to materialize a reality that can either be very bad or that can either be very good. So this speculative part of storytelling, I think, is very much something that is part of the team, and it is part of what binds us in our different interests. So let's tell the story of neuroepigenetics. And I already want to say that we have a very strange name of our team, NeuroEpigenetics. And that is because if you write such a grant, you have to come up with an acronym. And usually it's like the last thing you do 5 minutes before the deadline. And that's why it's NeuroEpigenetics, which sort of covered what was originally in the grant. So what was originally in the grant was conceived in 2017, and it was a result of discussion and collaboration with many people. I'm just going to name a few here that have been also influential in developing the ideas that I eventually made it in the project. There's Jean Steert, who is a child psychiatrist from Leuven, who we still work a lot with today. I got to know him because he was a specialist in autism, but he also is a specialist in Tourette, and it's actually by talking to him and the way he could talk about Tourettic experience without being reductionist that inspired me to add Tourette also to the project proposal. Sander, Sander van de Kruis is working at Antwerpen now, but he was a postdoc thinking about cognitive aspects of autism, cognitive theories, more in an ecological way. Delphine at that point was I was co-supervising her PhD, and later she became also a postdoc in the project. She's now a child psychiatrist she was already a child psychiatrist, but now she's a child psychiatrist at Catholic University of Louvain. And she did interviews with parents, longitudinal interviews with parents with autistic children. And Andreas, he doesn't need any introduction. Of course, you can wave. This is the last picture that is taken of him with a tie, right? So enjoy it while it lasts. As I said already yesterday, he was very pivotal. He helped a lot with he helped a lot with writing the grant, and also with thinking about experimental philosophy. I'm still not sure whether I have to be grateful for that or not. I'm just kidding, that's not true. These are Anna Smajdorf and Daniela Kutash. They are long-standing friends of mine whom I got to know as a postdoc when I was working in Maastricht, and we got to work together. Well, the nice thing about academia is meeting people that you connect with, that you can work with together, and I've had the privilege of having that a lot the last years. And, Anna and Daniela were also part of the project, albeit from their respective universities, and together with Emma, they edited the volume on collective responsibility and on responsibility and epigenetics. And they are also thinking about epigenetics in the context of identity, in the context of reproduction, and also kinship. Joka, maybe you can contact. Okay. So the project was submitted, I think, in autumn 2017, and then in May I got news that I had to go for an interview, and I did some mock interviews where I was completely, how do you say it, people, well, at least the first one, people didn't like it at all, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to go to the interview because I'm not going to make it. But the interview itself went very well, I think. Yeah, then you get the grant, and it's like, okay, this can't be happening to me, but it did, and it allowed me to, well, to make the team as it is now, because not everyone is paid from the epigenetics project, but I think it's because of the epigenetics project that we've been able to gather this like brilliant team. Gert-Jan, Gert-Jan, I will talk a little bit more about you later on. You were there already before the the grant started as a PhD student in a project that Ilse Nuns and Jean had with me on the ethics of early detection, but later on you became very, a member of the team, and you were very, how do you say it? Yeah, very active in making the team as it is now, which is really appreciated. Leni, I knew in advance, also from her work on autism and cultural studies, and I was very happy when she agreed to be the postdoc on neuroepigenetics, and yeah, I'm still very happy and proud that I got to work with Leni. Jo, I knew as a master, he was my master. He wrote a master dissertation on autism, and he was also very active in Autism Ethics Network. And yeah, I knew that he would be the perfect person to do a PhD on Tourette's. And Emma was a chance encounter, also thanks to Andreas, who introduced us. And yeah, well, it's been great. And I will, yeah, you see the conference here. I will talk about that later also a bit, but it was very much organized by Emma, which is really amazing. So yeah, this was actually the original core full-time team at that point, which was, I think, spring 2019, something like that. Yeah, so a long time ago. It was our first drink together, not our last. Okay. And yeah, starting up such a project is not, it's amazing that we got here and that we all found each other and found connections and entanglements, so that we have this like common idea of what we stand for, etc., etc. But it hasn't always been easy. The project, as it was conceived, consisted of 4 very standard work package. One work package was on experimental philosophy. One work package was on qualitative research with people with Tourette's, adolescents and adolescents with Tourette's, autistic people and people with ADHD. Then we had a very analytical work package on responsibility, collective responsibility. That's where Emma came in. And then there was a package where we would think of recommendations. So actually the project was originally very, projecty, so to say. I don't know how to say it. Just work packages and whatever. But of course we will work from different backgrounds with different. Leni is a cultural studies. We had philosophers. I don't know what I am, so just someone with really strange ideas, I guess. So how do we make this a coherent story? How do we go from disability studies to something very bioethicsy, like thinking about responsibility and epigenetics? So we thought about that a lot. It was not always, this was our first attempt at, you remember that? At sort of making connections between the different things. And here it sort of makes sense. I don't know what I've written there, but okay. But in the end, it became something more like this, real entanglements of things that may at first not seem so much related, but I think in the end, I think they are related. So this was the first word cloud we created with the things we sort of identified with. Okay. Other people joined the team at certain points. Laura, hi Laura, was with us after her PhD for 3 months to help with statistics. Eman, so here's another, who can guess which pub this is? Not the people who were there, but here maybe? Give it a try. No? No, not Papajos. What? Yeah, it's the one on the. I don't even know the name. Sorry. It's the one on the Ossemart. Yeah. Okay. So you're right, actually. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, that was a pub. So Eman, she joined us also for 3 months as a postdoctoral researcher. She's now working for Medicines Without Borders, and we worked together on an article, a review article on microbiome and psychiatric conditions, which was, it's already a couple of years ago that she worked for us, but already there, the other than human beings sort of came apparent. And then Leni and I, we have this scheme in at the University of Antwerp, where if you're a starting professor, you can apply for a PhD position. It's for every, and the idea is that, okay, you have to really make a good project proposal, but the idea is that eventually every beginning professor gets it. And so this is sort of a good opportunity to write something that's completely crazy and that the FWO never grants, but that you really want to do. And in this case, we tried to find something that interests us both. And yeah, Leni is interested in representations, but I can't really call it like that, but you know what I mean. And I'm just like to play video games, so we wrote a project on representations in video games. And we were so lucky to hire Lisanne then. Lisanne, where are you? You're hiding away. Who has been doing a great job exploring this idea. So I'm really glad that we managed to do that. Lisanne also organized a very nice symposium, Everybody Plays, on neurodiversity and games, which was very nice, together with 2 other people. Okay, but Lisanne was hired. I think, when was it? When was your interview? Do you remember? It was in 2020, right before the COVID. Yeah. So the idea was then that she would start in October 2020, right? But you know, 2020, you know what was going on. So we actually, after the interview, we only met again, I think, in 2021, or it was a first year that Lisanne was here. We actually didn't get to see her, and so we didn't get to see a lot of each other. But I also think about that period as very fondly, because it also brought us also a bit close together. We had a lot of support from each other, and that's thanks to a lot of initiatives. One of the initiatives is our most sportive member is Emma. She organized these different challenges. Or the original challenge was organized by the university, but then we did a lot of extra challenges. I discovered this person who is Leslie Sansone. She does this online workouts where you just walk in your living room, which is perfect. We also did the yoga challenge more recently, which was also very nice with Adrienne and her dog. So yeah. What? And Gert-Jan as the yoga master. You see that he's already spreading his just by being Gert-Jan, sorry. But then, yeah, we also, during the COVID, we also took the initiative of setting up a YouTube channel and inviting people to record these presentations, and then put them on our channel as a way of engaging with other academic scholars in what was a difficult time. And we had many great people participating, but the first one was Eva Jablonka, who is like quite a big name in epigenetics, and I was really honored that she agreed. So we had, you should check it out. We have really nice talks of both well-known and lesser-known academics on the channel, all related to the topic. And there was also a whole conference organized by Jo and Katrien on responsibility, psychopathology, and stigma. Jo wanted to organize this already for a long time, I remember. And then this COVID kept continuing. And then in the end, it was decided that we would do it online. And it was done online, but it was actually a very nice and very good conference. And I think everyone sort of enjoyed it, and it was well organized. And yeah, okay, maybe we have reached other people that we wouldn't have reached if it wasn't for that. So thank you for that. Okay, other conferences. The conference that probably has gotten us in the books of the veiligheids, how to say that in English. Last year, Emma organized a conference on anarchism and collective responsibility, which was really great. It was not because of the, well, of course, also because of the academic content, but also because it was a mixture of academics working in the field of anarchism, political philosophy, and topics of responsibility, and anarchist activists. So yeah, so the buildings of the university were filled with very interesting people, very nice people, people presenting very valuable work. So it's one of the things. Okay, in that time, I happened to not have learned how to say no, so I, sorry, I got engaged with two European projects, and it's these European projects. I'm not talking about ERC, which is a different kind of beast, but these kind of consortiums, they are kind of high profile, so you should be happy if you're part of it, but on the other hand, they are also very frustrating and challenging. And I was part of B2INF, which was a consortium to look for, how do you say it, the opinion of young people with regard to what do they want to know with respect to the information that they get from fertility centers. So it was met with many different partners who had to do qualitative research and everything. And so the University of Antwerp, as a partner, had to do the gender analysis based on existing interviews. R2D2 mental health, we already talked about that. It's also an even much bigger project, even with geneticists and so on. But at that point, I was also contacted by Yoko, who wanted to write about feminism and motherhood. She wanted to do a PhD in that with Katrien. And yeah, she needed funding to do so. So she's trying to write FAO proposals. But I also asked her whether she wanted to be involved with that, with these projects. And I don't know if she still considered that a good thing, but I couldn't have found a better person to do it than Yoko. So really, thank you, Yoko, for actually taking up this challenge and really making these things work. I think if there will be good outputs from that, it will be thanks to you. Jochen is also organizing a winter school in feminism and motherhood in February. I don't know, are the enrollments already closed? There's still some places, so if you want, highly recommend it. Okay, and then I was, it's the nicest picture that yeah, and then some time ago I got contacted by Vito already before the corona, who wanted to do all these projects about data security and data lockers and precision medicine in the context of post-genomics and proteins. We've talked a bit about that this morning. And the first grant we were part of, wasn't actually approved, but we got, because it was highly ranked, we got 1 year of funding. And Dan started to work on that, on precision medicine. And yeah, I was very, well, and he ended up having an aspirantschap, a scholarship of the FWO, so we're really proud of that. But I'm even more happy that Dan and then also Ina now, who is employed on an FWO project of proteins, they really want to take bioethics one step further than just several steps further, I'm sorry, than just thinking about privacy, etc., but really incorporate issues regarding to systemic injustices, biases, etc., in thinking about this kind of big data, also thinking about proteins as objects themselves, etc., etc. And Ina and Dan also presented in Busan in September. That was great. Made a lot of contacts, etc. Also are spreading the news about bioethics in science approach that we're sort of championing. And yeah, the project's kicked off with a nice, actually very nice conference in beginning of this year, where there were a lot of researchers, but the topics were mostly on the ethical and the legal sides. And I just found this, Ina, that's really you. I guess you draw it, so it's really beautiful. So yeah, Ina made a drawing about her research, which is about proteomics and all the different aspects, the ethical aspects that are relevant. And I really love it. Thank you. Okay. Now, another project, and this is really funny because I took these pictures of Vasha, Nele, and Christina, and I'm really sorry, Vasha, Nele, and Christina. It wasn't my intention to put these so small and the microbes so big, but it was it was Microsoft Word who actually did that as a suggestion, and then I thought, well, this is really very appropriate. It is more than human, both in the sense of the technologies as in the sense of more than human beings. So let's keep it like that. But that doesn't mean that it sort of exemplifies, I think, the work that you all have been doing, and that I'm also very, very excited about. So the possible on which Varsha is employed as a kind of EBOF scheme, which means it's different PIs of different universities, different centers working together on synthetic biology, and we got to do the ethics part. Maybe they're also already regretting that, I'm not sure, but we're having fun. And then back to healing, which is really, Nele and Kristina are working on that, which is really thinking about the relation between science and art and ethics. And Vasha, Nele, and Kristina are actively thinking about it, and it's very exciting, and I think it will also be very relevant research and very important research. And yeah, you've been experiencing the workshops. The workshop this morning with, where are they? We didn't invite them. Ah, they're at the back. Yeah. They're waiting for the reception. Okay. And then, this is Franlu. Franlu, can you wave?
Yeah, I wouldn't recognize me, but...
Franlu was hired on a project, which is also a DocPro project on environment and pollution. And in that project, I also talked to Wim, who's there, and Wim knew Andrea, who is behind Wim, I think. And they talked about projects in epigenetics that they had in with Quechua people in the Amazon. And so I hired, so I said, well, Franlu, part of the project is that you go for several weeks in the Amazon. And he did that, and I for 6 weeks, I felt really guilty. I was like, okay, Kristien, maybe you should tone down a bit on the really strange ideas. But I still hope that it was a very worthwhile experience, and I think, yeah, I was really happy. But you see, I guess, well, you're analyzing now, and I think it will be really, very interesting. Anyway, another FWO that was granted is Ipanema, which is sort of the brainchild of Gert-Jan, because it tries to implement the ideas about neurodiversity that were in his PhD at that point. And we hired Lies on that. And yeah, Lies, what can I say? We're so happy to have you. We couldn't have wished for anyone better to do this project. You're such a pleasure to work with, and I'm pretty sure that Ipanema is actually a project that will actually make a difference, and that's also very, very good. So Ipanema is a project that tries to, you've already explained it, but it's really, I think it will be. I mean, yeah, I'm really happy to get to be a part of a program that actually tries to practice what we're trying to preach. So I'm happy. Yeah. So, and then lately, well, the last year, 2 postdocs joined up, Bart and Miley. Bart is working on a project called Koelleven, and it's about microbes in nuclear installations. And yeah, it's also very exciting. He's an artist, and so working with artists the last couple of years also opened my eyes so much about how much possibilities there is in also for science to open creative new ways of looking at reality. I remember being in where was it, in Mol with the nuclear people, and they were talking about their extremophiles. They're annoying because extremophiles are microbes that sort of you can't kill easily, but they wanted to send clean things into space, and the extremophiles, they just stuck, and the scientists didn't only looked at the extremophiles as annoying, and then we started to ask questions. Yeah, but what did they actually do? And maybe they're wrong. And I'm sorry, maybe they were happy that we left, but anyway, it was one of these moments that I realized, like, okay, this is the way. We argue, Vasha, that every lab should have an ethicist, but also every lab should have an artist as well, not to just make the art or the logos or whatever, but just to open up new ways of thinking. And Miley, she started in May on Marie Curie, so I'm also very happy. I already heard her talk about predictive self-fulfilling prophecies, epigenetics, sorry, which is really, I mean, it's very close to what we're doing with other in the other projects, and it's very nice to see how, at this point, it's where in the beginning we were unsure how things could come together. Nowadays, things just come automatically together, and you find your way with other people to work together, etc. It's very nice. And now we talked this morning about your quantum things, and I was like, oh, Karen Barat, we should talk about that. So I think it will be great. I'm very excited also for your project. And then lately this year, Wouter, who is actually doing his PhD with Erik Mien and me, joined to a PhD on on how enactivist theories and post-human Donna Haraway-like things can cross-pollinate each other. So that's also something that's very close to our heart. And there are two research master students who will write their FWO postdoc in the team. Emma Dekkers, who has already left, but she was here, is writing about pollution and embodiment, which is really also close to, I think that would be really great. And Teun on autopoiesis, symbiosis, endosymbiosis, how they all relate, which is of course also very, very close to our hearts. Okay, we had visitors. You've already met Daniel, who visited us for a couple of weeks. I don't know, was it in 2022 or 2021?
Yes, this time last year.
Yes? Yeah. Okay. And yeah, he also went with us to the writing retreat, which I have some pictures about later. And he introduced scene making and the discipline of human geography, which I didn't even know that existed. And then last year we had for 1 month Brazilian. I think they are online. Hi, she was online, huh? Fabiola, you're here. Fabiola and Karina and Juliana, who got a grant. There was this specific grant so that you can visit an ERC person. And they had it, and they came over, and they have been doing interviews, qualitative interviews with people, with parents and autistic people in Brazil based on methodologies that we have developed. Okay, one thing that I will never forget in my entire life, I guess, was our writing retreat last year. And I was looking actually, so we went in January, we went to Normandy in a very nice house. Well, it wasn't actually a very nice house because we had to sleep all very close together, which was not how it was in the description, but we managed, we survived on a writing retreat, and it was really, really very nice. And we even swam in the sea, and well, not all of us, and also especially Lise, who we all had a wetsuit, except Lise, she was, and also Fran Lu, they just dove in the sea in there, not naked, but not wearing a lot of clothes either. So this is something that will go in your laudatio. Yeah, Fran Lu, your laudatio is already becoming very long. Okay, I think what's sort of, I'm very moved that all the people that I happen to have in my team, which I really can't take any credit for, they're just fantastic people. You all work a lot in group together. You try to change the world, and this is one example. It's not clearly visible, but at a certain point, there was a lecture, or what's a book presentation about from, yeah, I don't think I will name who it was, but it was like extreme rightish people, and they sort of made a banner that hung from the windows and made posters, etc., to protest against this event and to argue for a fascist-free academia, which is very, very much appreciated. There are other, I don't want to go into all the papers that have been come out because, well, they're all for slow academia and looking for different kind of output. And there have been lots of different output. For example, Leni's Ongehoord exhibition and book, which she also talked about, which was it was also in the Corona time, I remember. It was hard, but very well done. Also a joint initiative of the team as it was at that point to write a response to Massimo Pigliucci, that's how we pronounce that. Pigliucci was like a kind of very big name in biology, and normally he thinks in a very good way, I think, about plasticity, but he wrote something about disability and about hearing that was very, okay, no, you shouldn't. It was, I'm not going to repeat it, but anyway, it was very disability unfriendly. It had a very simplistic idea of what it means to be healthy or so, and they took the initiative to create together a response to that. Did he ever reply? Okay. And then a couple of years ago, so one of the teams is also, okay, we want to think about, and I'm very much an academic, I'm actually not an activist at all, but somehow as an ethicist, you do want to make a change, and you do want to also have some kind of influence on the topic you're talking about, in this case, psychiatry and child neurology, etc., etc. So Leni and I took the initiative to propose a special issue and on ethics and cultural studies, etc., all related to neurodevelopmental conditions. And we actually really wanted that to be in a very biomedical journal. And the Developmental Medicine and Child Neurology journal agreed. And we had a virtual special issue there, to which many team members actually also contributed, which contains now contributions that are really coming from the heart of disability studies, etc., which was very unusual for a journal like that. Also not easy. It was actually horribly difficult to somehow make sure that, well, it's the biomedical sciences, they expect papers to be written in a certain jargon, and maybe also vice versa, which is very difficult to reconcile. But in the end, everyone had to water bij de wijn doen. How do you say that in English? Had to compromise a bit, and I think, yeah, it came out very well. And I think the articles in there are very valuable for biomedical researchers and clinicians, and yeah, so I'm very proud of that. So did I forget anything? Yeah. So we organized, but that's also Catherine. With Catherine, we organized a summer school on narrative ethics last summer, which was really very nice experience as well. So nice that we sort of committed ourselves to organizing more summer schools. So, but yeah, the summer school was a very wholesome experience. with international guests, with very motivated combination of philosophers and literary studies. It was very, very nice experience, but we are also organizing new summer school in 2024 on microbes, thinking with microbes, and we probably will go from very dry philosophy of biology. I hope I don't insult anyone, but anyway. And then towards more ethics, and then maybe to more speculative artist stuff, so that people are marinated towards the more crazy ideas that we have. We have a winter school, hopefully also in 2025, on relational ontologies, because yeah, when the project originated, there wasn't much how you say it, non-Western perspective in it. It was mostly yeah, it was just not something that we thought about, but throughout the project, looking at ontologies from different non-Western perspectives, really interesting, and we want to also figure out how they relate to like this post-human thinking of Donna Haraway, etc. We are also consolidating the different initiatives on bioethics and science, the methodology of the notebook that Vasha talked about, and that's also in Daan's and Ina's project. Can we make some kind of methodology out of that is useful for other people as well? We're working on the bioethics course. And Franlu and Vasha, thanks a lot. On the 14th or 15th May, they are organizing a conference on non-Western philosophy, which will have a bit of a surprise, but you can ask them themselves, because you will know sooner than later. Okay, I think an ERC starting grant is a very ambiguous thing. It's all, the concept of this ERC it's about setting up a research group under a PI, and as such is very much associated with an academia that stresses individuality, excellence, and productivity. But I think that we have shown that this needn't be the case. You can it served its purpose, which is to allow us to start up a team that will reach far beyond what was the original purpose. And I feel extremely honored, I must say so, and I've even moved every day to be working with you all, and well, you're all fantastic, and we all work on different topics, but somehow they are all related, and there's a lot that binds us, and with every new team member, new connections are made, and humus is added, so to say, and the love is spread. So I want to end by first thanking all of you, all team members. Yeah, you're just fantastic. I want to also thank you, all the people who are here, who are supporters or friends of the team. I want to thank the people also of the catering of the organization. Thank you so much. These couple of days were fantastic. And a special thanks for Emma. Come here, Emma. She organized this conference while having COVID and while having a broken thumb. So I have a little present for you, but it's over there. But for now, I have a cat for you. But I don't do anything except pushing the B button, so that's really not very. Anyway, there's still one thing we need to do. What's in the name? I already told you that NeuroEpigenEthics. Yeah. Okay, it was an acronym that I invented 5 minutes before the deadline, and it stuck, and people abbreviated even into NE, which is no in so I hated it every time. Okay, so, and anyway, the project is finished, and we thought over the last couple of weeks, months even, that there is, it's time for rebranding ourselves to a name that we all like and that we can all feel comfortable with, and much thanks for Gert-Jan with his incredible organizational skills to have this organized. And we finally came up with a new name. There were several names that didn't get a final cut, like Mess Lab, which sort of also, I also liked it, or Brave Lab, or Brave Squad even, or whatever. What else did we have? Wise Squad. What else did we have? Do you remember? No? Yeah. So the name is Unreadable. No, I'm sorry. That is the name is. We decided to name ourselves Compost Collective. I hope you like it. Compost has several. You can ask ChatGPT what we mean by compost. It is also. I think it really fits. I think compost is kind of thing that it contains, of course, a lot of microbes and worms, but it's also a bottom-up thing. It's something that nourishes from the bottom up, and I think that is important. And I think that sort of says what we are. We don't have a logo yet, so we have papers and so on. So if anyone feels very inspired, please draw us a logo, or just write down what you think should be the logo. That would be great. But so I'm very happy to announce Compost Collective. I'm looking forward to really working still a really long time with you guys, and I hope, I know it can only get better. Thank you.